could be the luckiest.
Asempa from the Abduma Fem. Your Ghanaian Premier League coverage in the Jayo. The headquarters of Ghana Sport. Asempa 94.7 FM. And our #1 radio station at 106.3 FM. Yes, pre and post-match analysis, the interview, live commentary, Sepani Krato from what? Hana Obatino. Etitia Asempa from the Abduma Fem. Each match day. Nayan Savi was a Ghanaian Premier League live on Atom FM the Asempa FM. Hashtag GPL on Atom FM. Hashtag GPL on Asempa FM.
Premier League is back again.
Minia, when you say me baby calling.
Hey, Abna, just a few beer what to coin. Last 2 years say we go Dubai. Last year we go Singapore. I feel him for Krana woko.
I feel where dear, me ko chin. Me try China.
Hey, Abna, what's it then your way? Now no me imagine say me to coin. And go for Jimmy say di kwa mama anko bio.
Oh, Minia, kafra. I don't want to waka now from Kana. Minia, omo hyehyeye kama. Ukase ukodi holidays a. Omo do beko. Omo hyehyeye no eye kama pa. Ebini say, ovisa wo de beko. E ma na nya wo haw kra. Hotel a wo beda de ene ultra modern one. De kumi kra no eye traveling insurance. E be bo me ho ban. Baby a me ko bia sa to renchem to me a. E be cover me. Na de ba ko e ka ho a me wuo ni say. Omo obi a unya koduru ho no ma odu be chinchina mo hwehwe baby chichichicho pictures awani beje ho
hey yene ayi o me se de nya wo mo
jomu number sese anafe wo mu e wo 0242435515 anase follow wo mu at Wakana Ghana anase obetimi visit wo mu e wakana.com.gh anase obetimi download di omu app no obetimi tutu na mu meka akopie mu wo masueye metri omu office e bi won kran hanom Kumase takrade ana afensi no tamale se why wadwin se obetu kwan dia ene adwen Wakana ho.
Hello.
Oh, it's saying.
Oh. Okay, hold on, my main checking message in bra. Yeah, Medi. Medi ABC game. We got 1,000 Ghana. Me let us do up and Medi 5,000 Ghana cedis. Dial star 262 hash. Select 3 letters BR to say KBW and I say WIN. Na say ya boba bano. Na say wabani bibwa. What disika? Se mi na bombo dia. What disika kesi ekra? Game way there. There is no loser because Uchani wendi cry 10% cash back. Yeti wadi ebamao. Resu wakati me. Girl cry macheni. Obi trade diska crab on sudre. ABC game. Eye easy to say ABC. And Kratway NLA Ajat. What characters platform also.
Asempa FM. Asempa FM.
Omanhene, Asante. Omanhene, Asante. Omanhene, Asante. What can I say? What carry I want?
No numabo yeda mu nyina masesem gusu gibra mo hwe na mutie eye Ekosiisen On Asempa 94.7. Well, my main car was say an snit edwin or Dutch. Very important. Very important. Snit edwin or Dutch. I say enhwe emanen koka se mehunu yanka na afi ede nioma bebre aneba. Nti boaboa ho enne na odachi no timidini yie pa. Nti snit de hihye bebre gu akwama adwuma bia wo ye bia no se o TBC na afi wankasa odachi no watimi edini yie na bibia akokama ede amawo. Sankomo amaboy se wani je ho pa se obehwe ama odachi etimi edimu awie period a snit se frɛ won ewo eye 0302 611 622 and as I connect on their socials now Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok and YouTube at Snit Ghana na watimini on edi eye inkita hom fishene nso na obi amfa enfufu ana na quiet wo odachi abrabo a eye obo ehom na maka so say Adom Color Party no so no ehyeso dendendin Saturday November the day kan kra and your day tata so 10 a.m. sharp ewo Legon Botanical Gardens so nti Mr. the old nyina say ade a oba na okala ugidi no ye bekika wase macho na afi wa be part of ye share ye de bro ebio Joy News Ecobank Habitat Fair no so no ehihye eguso na the omo catch on so ne say free the 23rd to the 26th of October nyoma efa odan asiesie ahode ese onya ene nema for dan ehia pa tisa inhemudie we that solution na obetimi dia solve most of these challenges obi apese usida na tomunioma pa na afi otinioma bebre so ase virtual security for Ekasa Shishye Africa and virtual security Africa safety and home solutions Super Lock Technologies Limited, DPS Pipes, Elegant Homes and General Construction Limited, Gold Key Properties, Ayuda, Special Gardens, DBS Industries Limited, Doormasters, Lease Fortune Limited, LandlordAfrica.com, The Builders Market, Right House Energy, Yawa Syntex Tank, Automation Ghana, Interplus, Euban Security Doors, Clifton Homes, Western Villas, and MTN, and of a green box a year sewage. Namasa account for cancer mixture so the amount and a wapo ne waposuno ya de bia how or joint into cancer mixture is how no every precope at the amount. One a produces a mixture me check cancer mixture a Trust in Jehovah Clinic watakwa. Oko pharmacy shop biana unyebi ato honum. Free one takwa 0244871862. Kaswa 0245012201. Okanshi Drug Lane in Crime 0244683583. Cancer mixture yes so wabroba obono yes se gebetimi pa yade bia nkodokro na enkoha wadwene sa enyumekwe adaroma ana yede sa enkomoi ebro yetra see there atigon the freshest and newest lawyer na se do sia choko unyanko chambers no
me no ko abelo e dey dey ma sha say pentokwa
bibia obekama
me uti we kra me timbe joso untimi nya hwe
abiko onimumra no
me do be court
it is just somebody without any
reasonable cause because I can afford a free lawyer.
Oh, congratulations.
Oh yeah,
I tell you then I'm making kind of wasemo Facebook no na me hwesa na ni so atata because many na fi brono ba kokoro ba na yehwe say the baby ofiri bae ono aka ona semu o say me pa me ni and honestly it's been a journey and that journey you know the dynamic and say we're crowning with that success
and the sacrifices he had to endure Mikai maybe even free his freedom some of his freedom to a curtailed sure in fact, they were self-curtailed.
It's self-curtailed.
And it tells you how much he invested in this process.
I wish my draw the map and simple. Baby of a fire, you know. The name will be and they say why. But whichever way, no, I will trade off.
It's paid off.
I know that show Nina at the tone chain, Nina down for or the comedian farmer. I know they breaking me down. Come say, hey, it's a brand Brian, there were a jubilees then, no.
Somewhere Brian, baby.
Or true, as me say, a radio who mobo na inkunim di bebano near that's what that's
it. Yeah.
Very painful because ono obi and kumi. They share a lot of moments together. I'm imagining they didn't phone you to one ma. They did about somebody no a farm so no. Say,
so he was called on the same day as you guys. Gosh.
Too much.
Meaning Madame Fubiso or Bre, he was pursuing a PhD in economics.
Too much.
Akweji, when he was admitted into the Doctor of Philosophy, 1 month pepepe, Ambruso. Not in Akunyumusi. He was doing some modeling on his computer. Adibechi and Yilba Rwanda. Sena we Ukraine until freshest doctor. The Tolebia Sabi Minkai eti for yao, and a Minkai Miankasa Mihuya, Minua Preocupe Mutala. The same situation. Tolebia anyway. Young Mompai say Brea bring when the time to enjoy comes I bet yes.
Oche Nipa Musa yeti. So na Bible canon Nipa yeti de flowers. In Onchena ya besinko nti in the life na ye live no o se dey hu dey ye botu yembo
very important
because ye mfanko baby and
on the brighter side of life, Eric, kudos and congratulations once again.
Thank you very much.
Party Mboko, we need to go to Asempa and celebrate you. Now you can show moon crying. Hey, and I hold you still.
Oh, say na Omanhene young man no. Omanhene kitwa no. So no so ya kwale no.
Me who say, oh, me who say
yeah. So look across TikTok and not funny bra. And when I'm video, but I so
a big day for him. No can
we go mo buy ha no cry.
Wow. We be jana kwa no abeje ne law ako.
Wow.
He says na be di na Asempa.
Wow.
No. Na be di na Asempa.
Nana, congratulations. Say also where Timmy Akwakodusa and Pempen so enye easy sir.
Yeah.
Easy. Me
no Kumasi campus. When say later na omomane ba omujini fi omane ba because of friction and everybody no.
But no meaning say I was die also. Ye body everything. Na o sorry no.
Omanhene. Yes titi will be betre. Dey kan Bible say ade nyina mu yemfase da merade. And me de me na mu amekono minim de simeni so. And I believe strongly say Yankopon bow no ye wadom now so ye ho adoma de opese esi wani so bia na ye den a obeden obedru ho. And mama use this your medium nipa dodo pia that day me who saw more posting me social media mama me SMS WhatsApp messages. Some people I never expected from them. Me do mo nyina se and I'm a vice president baby obi am dana se an opportunity no from Eric. I mean Brazil so nti ese na ye call no the best me o han ka me no ne beko. And that message alone was so touching.
Wow.
Yes. So baby a prophobia me dana se because me ka say mu ye den na niam bebre nko yi no na me nenenam. The last time na ye do bogo so obi mo time no. And then that frustrating news in the bus, Eric, there is time for everything. Calm down. And TBM is a platform back on us. No, okay, me bufu kakran kamera campaign be anami ko fast in my boom. Nina and Nema Nipako true. But the Shankan ya say Nina Tremoko. It's made penning for better mechi, Minia Sam George, Medana Sam George Bao, and a Commissioner General Sapon. Also by also Medana say and I don't know what made Ibrahim local government.
Also your colonel.
David Mintin about.
Who's that? Hey.
Also Medana.
And that's good.
Yeah, I'm working in Asante region.
Yeah, I'm working minister
by Medana Sina. Bro Judge MP.
Hey, squad. They
did very well. Many Asame MP. And they so be a more no abeba.
Yes.
And it's so surprising say those that I never invited. Oh, hano pana we attest to yes we na your call nti meba mpanin phone.
Wow.
So ana obobia nyamni shira omo ya Mahama case indeed. O show care no. Na mama Lord dinner so baby
he's a deputy.
He's the main person.
He's one of the deputy MD of Ghana company.
Yeah, by
Ghana Medical Trust Fund. On the administration.
Oh, she's no longer at the
airport.
Oh, about 1 month ago no more. So on my I don't win us and I'm me nam for any minuanom Obia any day. That day me to some kasa bi wa. Ran away. Omanhene mo na so ho no. Na me am na interested parties. Domina so. Yeah. But ni na no but enra I think they now mo call ye na me hu say mo ko twen me ne same picture bi. Titi picture bi I think that was in 2018. Na ye same campaign na ye wadam bai. It's na ye tinsu obi so. Na dey no me kai. Me ade am so we asefa ni nsu. Hu me sa no. Ti ye dru baby I be pack ye ka na akofo ke no. Edi be wa na ne amfo yo. No bi aso. Me se amfo. Ensu da ho na me hwe wa say the odi kanu no kono ba ko tie kiro no kicha ade a o so fi mi hu ade na hu say ye wu awi ti omu bome be de ona same so de BBNC yenko memfoni yenko na metina mu na mi kita ne poster ne say and obi try a picture there is a picture na obi be post to social media. I think that was in 2018. Wow. At na me this slim course kakra don no so atwetwe intinano na mi so obi akọ post to na okofa me current picture me nesam no de kan. But you see in life, all is about determination. True. And always tell yourself you can do it. It's possible, no matter where you are coming from. Yeah. And no challenge for you. It's your dynamic.
So Erica J Esquire, CEO NAPE na what say ono so abon nkomo kakra bi no abo acho at the right time or obetwe go krata so na fe ya book lunch na fe ya koto
book no de book no page 34 na be there no you know ya odi no
odi chapter 3
34
Isaac Boamanyako okwa afia mpesa so ono e bashi bidwe ni obad oye mredinfo ono so abeka yensa e wa hanu say lawyer honorable Kwabena never say
Yamna Daruma Omanhene.
Yeah, me kind the last time I ba on here be program ka say you are winning and I'm winning
Onyagoro tsunami no si wo Western region hono ajumbombi and this for the
one fun easy that
no
the NBC guys the man ya west obelusu opa on call na fia so mo se NBC
yeah no go one father no president there na obejo no so fi
was unique here. Minim say bibi sabe timi sibi mu dia.
Well, bibi a we sibi abotum we sibi.
Okay, once SC penny
SC go take the best.
But I don't know if it will happen in our lifetime because like it was inexplicable. Won't me treat
unprecedented.
Even the NDC, they knew they were winning,
but not at this rate. Yeah, not at that rate. Yeah.
Eba Parliament MP snippy on nkra. Wonya ya ka woko ba ko pe DC. Ose adabe mo na try be lock there be sure say we loser but I ko pe MC. I don't know what to offer.
I see.
It's them not.
But says Yaboko.
Oh, Yamina Daruma no payana. Mifi Takrade Babidu. Ebet Kea. Yenum Frama will fee JHS or SHS. No Saday Koniko so one and Kakra. So I organized a very good program. You support one with trunk and mattresses and school bags and provisions Kakra. Yedema Yenum Frama will go school. Inti. That was one big program I used to me. Nyame adum kwa Saturdays be breast cancer screening. Yadama yanama me phone so na wahwe musa wona apomuzen oti.
I see. But just in the Superior Court of Judicature, in the High Court of Justice, I see the Republic versus Gifty Owari Mensah. Hey. Count 1, statement of offense.
She's been charged.
Stealing contrary to section 1241 of the Criminal Offences Act 1960 at 29. Count 2.
Particulars of offense.
I mean, particulars. Gifty Owari Mensah, former Deputy Executive Director between February 2022 and March 2024 in Accra, in the Greater Accra region, dishonestly appropriated the sum of 31,502,091. I mean, can 31,502,091 Ghana cedi, the property of the National Service Authority, by causing the money to be transferred to Blocks of Life Consult for your benefit. That's the particulars of the offense. Count 2, statement of offense. Willfully causing financial loss to the Republic contrary to section 179A3A of the Criminal Offences Act 1960 at 29. Particulars of offense. Giftowari Mensah, former Deputy Executive Director, between February 2022 and March 2024 in the Greater Accra region, willfully caused financial loss, and that's the figure 31 million and over, to the Republic by causing the said amount to be transferred to Blocks of Life Consult, a company of which you are the ultimate beneficial owner, and for you to purportedly for the supply of goods on high purchase to national service personnel you never supplied. So, and also, and what's some count 3 A, and also count 4 Debbie. Because that was what was okay, so count 3. Willfully causing financial loss to the Republic contrary to section 179A3A of the Criminal Offences Act 1960 at 29. Giftowari, former Deputy Executive Director, between February 2022 and March 2024 in Accra, in the Greater Accra region, willfully caused financial loss in the sum of 6,956,15747 Ghana cedi to the Republic by causing interest of the said amount to be charged by Agricultural Development Bank on the loan 31 million and above that you inappropriately authorized for Blocks of Life Consult and benefited from. Count 4. Statement of offense. Using public office for profit contrary to section 179CA of the Criminal Offences Act 1960 Act 29. So, particulars of offense. Giftowari Mensah, former Deputy Executive Director, between February 22 and March 2024 in Accra, in the Greater Accra region, dishonestly abused your office for benefit by unlawfully receiving under the color of your office for yourself an amount of 31502,091.40 from Agricultural Development 31 million and also there be around 32 court be able from 31 million and then 502,091.40 from Agricultural Development Bank through Blocks of Life Consult, which you knew you were not authorized to receive personally. So count 5 rather. Statement of offense. Is it the mark kind there 5 and 5 counts, yeah. Until count 5 or say money laundering contrary to section 12AI of the Anti-Money Laundering Act 2020 Act 1044 and also Wahanum say wow. I see.
Into mine.
Lawyer for Basia, what is it?
Sir Ghana odikama minchi etefu nyina na minchi ifi afonso na Western region fu nyina na Ghana fu nyina wote in the area bri oman say enya ne dem de aban osusu de obi wafa kwan bone do bi ordinance akoka baniska abra on said the nipa no ordinance ka enti na Ghana yeshishemra na emra ni chede se nipa no asem no kwa attorney general ho na ohwehwematika ba
no second there is another one.
Okay, money.
Oh, you see, enti
half a billion
money in China. Lawyer can say no interest. No,
I think problem I on the say no. Aban attorney general said why you shishim or would you did nipa na wa accuse no ye give to worry no or said okona okwa chechim na oyina no wasem dibia se oyina no wasem dibia asema obeka afam no obekye bibia ye de nipuma sibre ye de beto but ameme worry kakra owo hone de eyi give to worry means na asem edisi nche no hia de aban be hwehwem but me be some over time e wona ye de wona ko gina asem dibia de ye hwehwem de wo de won sa ka aban diska no we kesiden okay, Alfred, Agwesi Oyumi. Yes, 51 million on Sedema. You trained the for almost 8 years. Finally, judgment to crab bede Alfred Agwesi Oyumi while finding guilty. Kwana yebe fado kra yebe retrieve sikano kra no a problem. Yet Krom Hadi, the same government was prosecuting other government appointees for criminal offences. Aban foforo be no otum of filing nolly prosequa odiyi dem nkrofuni nyina efi asem dibia without giving much justifiable reasoning tia obia aban ena ye ka aban ye hi nyina. It is aban prosecute a government appointee over a period. Nas aban foforo bana so se de oriyi dem nkrofuni na odekesi nchena na me bi samonde nti Ghana na ye chechire no ye chechire ni based on mana ye pe ena ye de chechire na de mana emranity ene ye pe de di adwuma. Nti na I'm fine with any decision of government, the attorney general the oba hwehwem no dwen there or said or prosecute give to our means and any other body or person, but I'm concerned there aban oba yen hwehwenim. Now we decided that others that were also being prosecuted, he found it necessary to withdraw the charges against them. Why? So Ghana abaning something here. There was German court on the case. Assembly court on the that's why they are before a court of competent jurisdiction.
This is not any so.
Or my confidence and bus system nim. Or my man, I hear she should be able to me. I'm holding Crawford accountable. And this prosecution, I am all for it. Say abandon there, Nipan waye bona. On frankwa sim dibia. Nipan wa right of representation. Obe yinano, bebia obesino, yengina yebefwa. But a dikamfona na ye charge one himfa. Why there's a ban says debia, we can only prosecute the past, but we can't prosecute present.
Aban sisa.
Debi ajida ban says Asante ya prosecute people. Why that ban nankasa woda? Say yem do bi afumombra yentumi yemfa nipa ne kwa asem dibia. It will be beka say oban de gift of wari na asem say nka oponu akufo ado na abanim de dem na waya. Obi be beside would the government have that audacity to prosecute its own? The only instances are where the aban wa fanen krofo ne ka mala misa. Now onye MPP new true and true. It's Obi Beka there, though he was part of the government, Obotumi using there the scapegoat. But we have not since 1993, my memory serving writer, any government, Yebeka corruption, how corrupt, and this aban being a corruption, I shall say. Obi Beka, Yati the Ora, Obeka, Nina Yeshi, Inichi. But ye Timunankasa so bono kodo. Se abanu ha abanamon hutu. Into woma yembua ni yenchichiro mano. Yembua ni yenye adza obema akoma boto yim because Ghanaians have given that trust to hold public purse in the hands of the government, led by His Excellency the President. And Ghana for shede o mampinyin, so a Ghana for yen mampinyin a onye yijim, onye hwehwenim, onfa nwana odwende wonne nenya adwene na ode won bokwa asɛmdibia na impo obi wona bani no ya de no nya obotum aye. We need that today than ever. We need to see that today. I want to see the day where a government will be bold when he receives complaints and issues. Yababa galamse ho one award won come attorney general there on hwehwema wo yen DC for make accident. You need confidence, you need boldness.
Asempa.
You do obi a you join there you wakukuduru you botum ya ye me ye because the person is an opposition, an opponent. I'm all for it. Obi a we digan is hand akufo na ban bia but no prosecute. On hwehwem on fa unko di asɛmdibia. If they find them guilty and even yebeba ho court na nka sample na ye structure ni say no yama politicization room. It's even decisions of the court is becoming a problem.
Asempa FM.
Of course, I'm a lawyer. You are now the fin abenti. Yama wakwaba. No more. Akwaba ye. Yabakwa true statement, judgment. Yabakwa share judges. But make a political colored cases. Cases are oko. Court obi nim de eyi oye a ban against ebia obi foforo a owo aban na echi baby ehwe decisions are oba the same court that is taking a particular stand and aban says ape no che the decisions no so why ni na ebenya time ni akọ but Omanhene man America ne the as a country say ye pedo o man okuni ni ma o se de ye ya amanyosem ye di fi kwana nkrofo fa kwambonedo wode won sabo abani sikasem another woman on positions of trust mimia oti woman position of trust or responsibility to protect government property and government resources we wejidi we ni mude ori ye na adwuma yi and mission in crime there onye na adwuma mosa osenofata but in case there obi oye bibi na se onsen fata o se den nanka sample otum opim no ka de ma dia ye nipa no re no onye inta ban onfa nko onfa nkedi. We don't have that boldness as a people and we need to start that from today. Na government is show leadership inti mana give to one ne den yate.
All right, lawyer Buamanya Kumedasi besa back for proper conversation with the HM. I think Wadaruma, any comment on this one?
Lady Kaimamicha, the Republic of Kamaga Fuyina, na Misama Minia Eric Trinkwa. I mean, it's been a long journey. Why are there? And he should keep fighting. I mean, people like Eric, they have a bright future in this business of politics. Inti onkoso and one homode. Now, having said so, Olim said not long ago, I was getting not disillusioned per se, but I was getting uncomfortable with the fact, with the silence of the Attorney General. Now, because I was in the spirit of broadening the horizons of transparency. Now, all of a sudden, is it the allegations are yet to say Ebimo have sold the oral for whatever? And where is somewhat a relief. Say omuntindaye and it is not entirely accurate. Say the allegations are omuye no correct, because I was wondering, say some of these cases are ebe my updates wahuno akosi saying so which means when Yabe HSA they were working on the pieces of evidence that they had gathered, no, and for me that's reassuring enough. Having said so, meanwhile, lawyer Ekanyi, look, this country is in serious trouble. Asante, Abembia Ewosubia transfers the prosecution of alleged crimes to the next government, and that is wrong. Hardly would you find Abain dealing with Omangas Omunkrofo. It is in that I can say spirit and yes support is we should have an office of the special prosecutor. Nejumani say Ono is like an independent arbiter. Nejumani say he would investigate and prosecute matters of corruption and related matters. Unfortunately, we have been done. We've been, I can say we've been done in, and now we've been dealt a raw deal. Since the creation of our office, but that was the intention. Say Yebenya, an institution that would have the courage to investigate and prosecute people even in government. That was the idea. Because Attorney General would this argument, the Minister for Finance is a colleague in cabinet. The Minister for Transport is a colleague in Parliament. Nti eyedianya anyonkufa wo muntem. Nti abinisho that very structure creates conflict of interest. Yes, the very structure of the Attorney General and Minister for Justice Ankasa creates a conflict of interest situation. Nti it disables him from pursuing ono Ankasa nkrofo. Nti na yenyina yejitu mu na yebua yese let's have an independent office. Nejumani say the person would have the courage to prosecute even nkrofo mwabemu, but unfortunately we've just invested money with no concrete outcomes to show for. But when even though Mimi Nyaya Nanka Abambia would have the courage to deal with Omankasa Omunkrofo, because that is the only way you can deter the commission of some of these crimes of corruption and related crimes. But if at all Yenya Baya on to mean dealing with Onwan and Crawford, but there is that recognition say Mukofio Krana and Yobe Bano would be ruthless. And Ukra in some sense would create a sense of deterrence. Because then as your colleagues are having a rest and licking their wounds and trying to rebuild in opposition, no. Would bonam daddy up and now BNI and would they koso? What is it? And I think even though Minyaya would have had government, dealing with their own, but Wekra is also some reassuring arrangement. Say would whoever is coming would come after you and would come at you very hard. But again, another year I was a bit disappointed in the conduct of the Attorney General when he decided to discontinue a lot of these cases. If you were very convinced about their innocence, my course didn't declare more such. But to wholesale file nolly prosecute, I think it discourages people's support for the fight against corruption. What was here? If you feel strongly, say evidence are yedi down court, who are you and near Hondisa, would they let the court make such determinations? And as such determination, but he decided, say, he was going to discontinue the cases. And see, the fight against corruption, is like the dictum says that it should not be it should not be seen to it should not be fought, but must be seen to be fought. What is here? And this is me amiti na me hu ne yakoso my dream as a Canada be yakoso. It might not necessarily be the case. It could well be said truly the weight of the evidence is weak. But in my mind, you've registered a certain suspicion. The collective fight against corruption. But remember, and some who can we I was privileged to be sent those court documents. Second one, there's another one where they say 31 million or 32 million. Or says half a billion. Let's ignore the fact that it's even an allegation. The fact that you have been alleged to have squandered this much, and yes, 10 million, 1 million, half a billion, no 500 million Ghana cedis. Look, if you see baby, convert it into dollars, and you are talking about almost $300 million. Alright, in fact, and I'm more. 50 million.
Ghana cedi.
When you 50 million,
500 million.
Yes. Divided by 1.28, and Omanhene do the
$50 million.
Now $50 million here the kuma. Yes, you go loan kwa meba.
Meba 300 million.
Ati. O de ko wasem so was.
We multiply by million.
12 $1.2.
12 sorry. Okay. But I don't follow. It's
so what he wants to say is a young
classic. Would the family be a huge sums of money? The fact that you are even being accused, and Mijidian said the Attorney General would not just conjure figures. Maybe they followed a certain trail, and trail no involved figures. Oh, until whether the figures are actually the case say Odiana say Wendy. The fact that these are even the amounts involved nukra are very scary. What is Ghana's GDP? Nani papa but it's because we have allowed this subculture of we don't prosecute our own. Until ye jama whoever is coming. Uti ya
Wafemko.
No afemuko. And now if you can play the game as the allegation in town is no. Ubewa na wako cheka credit amo bina asemna kwe ni akwe. And it is really a problem. Me mebuno, and I get worried when a youngster and a young person is involved in some of these things. I mean, we are supposed to be the future of this republic. What I say? Nase Yamfan Ukra said the older generation have failed us. Is it not our responsibility? And ye nebe mana be ye. Ye ne say ye na dachi ma. You bet you can say, even though the older generation disappointed us somewhat, we took cue from their mistakes and we corrected it. Exactly. But says it's like the youngsters are leading in the crusade of corruption. Omuna says tricks ni
very attractive.
Says politics is now the most attractive business for every young person. Obe school, obe wanod in go student politics. Time we're doing it. Look, me when I was involved in student politics, I had no interest in doing politics whatsoever. Politics it was not part of my plan at all. But see, people deliberately get involved in student activism, which whatever that means, because it doesn't exist anymore. They just get involved in becoming SRC presidents and what as a nursing bed to become future corrupt politicians.
Future corrupt politicians.
I'm telling you,
future corrupt politicians.
I'm telling you, that's where the training begins. See, a lot of the investors are SRCs accountability.
A problem.
That's where it begins. The training to be super corrupt politicians starting from.
But
yes, no, it's a scary situation.
It's scary, but the wholesale aspect of it.
Look, I know what I'm telling you.
I don't have a problem, but you cannot unblock. That's what we breed.
That's where it begins.
No, and your breeding grounds. They didn't want to take advantage of that situation
in the past. Student activism was for people to show how courageous they were to stand up to power. It was an opportunity for people to show how like they were charismatic, and Sikasam was not even part. Says as if what me expenditure have a Mumbai account here heading. Because says a coin ben ebe first so ya ye. Now o graduated from Honashi anyana. Between MPP and this now we be choose bako.
So we need to watch that space and you're healthy.
Me see Sabi,
because that's the future of the country.
Unkola omuwe. I mean, and I'm renting here school 5, 6, 7 years ago. If you any political party, says here, Omanhene why you ben you don't even you see usika and do the sika quarter. Dear no, sometimes they are just hangers on or kita minister be back in the name of being a PA. But the sika does to change. Only clearly defined schedule, but was sika change.
Or contact.
Contacts
networking.
That's what they call it. What is here? And that is where I get sad. Say mebununo. We should be we should be calling out the older generation. When they get involved in acts of corruption, we should be the ones saying, say, look, we won't allow you. But they are now fully involved. In fact, some of them are Mrofoni Ngukrafoni now are learning from some of the young ones.
You know, for on the preliminary.
What you say? Some of them omo plucks, as it is said in urban Ghana, no ube who akokra. He's relying on young man to go and do connect one fambreno. And so when I see some of these things, I get disappointed, I get disillusioned. And I ask myself, say, hey, is there hope for this country?
That's the question.
Is there hope for this country?
Because your future, no.
I mean, if this is how the future of Ghana is going to be, same ranting mama, this you get yourself entangled.
Akukudre nya etimidi fa abaya die.
Minka and yensro.
Debi. But some
no fear.
You need to tell on tea. Not a form of corners. I able connect.
Sanity.
And I should say, Yakuma feel nine.
And Sabi, yeah, you know, always singing principles and talking, you know, objective. So usually Jimmy be Sabi. What the radio show can Jimmy be come dear but do no. But if you on you know a smart channel because the person is able to.
But the smart
what was here?
Yeah, what ditch?
Yeah, what ditch mudada? Yeah, what ditch mudada? Sabakuna abano. Only God knows how many more are on the way. Look, I don't want. Sometimes when you discuss these things, you may sound prejudicial and prejudgmental. But help me because the individuals can you know. I mean, the days of Kufone, Victor Semen, Kukrafone, and I do this agro. No, Mama, no, Mrante, and Kamubi. And these were things that we looked on with surprise, and we looked at with surprise.
Maybe Omanhene also ask here developer kono. We couldn't see that space. It's getting to a point. The GH says the until you prepare.
No, there was no succession plan.
Formidable team of young men and women. Fill that gap.
No, because and then the older generation failed us on two accounts and on two levels. First, Ghana should have been should have been somewhere else other than where it is today. That's the first leg of the failure. The second is they should have trained the next generation of leaders.
First generation. I'm for one call. First generation. Or not for one go to the other so generation no
training. But before you come in, I'm saying if you have interest in your Ekosiisen Asante Mantema, teach you Mampo Akunye Beda Silver Student. The news coming in is they have a nominee, and the name is Leslie Nkansa Osaibonsu. The date of birth is 14th of March 1974. His educational background: City of Kumasi Prempeh College, BSc Geometric Engineering KNUST, Masters Geoinformation and Earth Observation University of Twente, Netherlands. Second Masters Computational Science and Engineering University of Munich, Germany. Work experience: 2 decades experience senior software and geospatial system strategies, and currently product and service group manager, GAFAG Germany. Inti bibia etutomu dia na chese yere na Leslie Nkansa Osaibonsu and a silver stool no obekwa akotena so ahye mampo ne Asante man animonyam. So that's the news. That's just in ya sha say pija na de powder egu no hu die na chese ye dia dance say we are close to a celebration. Lawyer, we there.
Mind just briefly. Just say, and I think say, whoever we are branded to say Eric G. Nedu Kwabena, you become an ambassador for the entirety of the youth in this country. Enti oko gu ni mazisana. Onim say see unlike before. Mrantia mo MPP mo nobody shouting munyano. Like kanino nanka yebe Unim say I hardly hear anybody trying to justify and I defend Ekosiisen, and I'm excited. It means the disappointment is not just with me in Kwao. The majority of young people say you should have been shining examples. They'll be like, look, go and carry your own cross. What I say, and I'm excited. Say the youth of MPP are not defending anybody who is being, accused of anything and who is going to stand trial. Young Kosu, let's build that culture. Say, Sebi, you do come maybe now go anywhere. Carry your own cross.
All right. Lawyer.
Yeah.
Is this just to satisfy your party base now? Because and we are much I see some branch is a motor BBC at all costs, and I like the position of the Attorney General. Say, yes, I can obey. Oh yeah. As so now dance here, bro. You say, or they are same way called their uncle Pim dance, because also integrity and credibility is at stake. In the party base, na, what was satisfied man?
Mine. They did come. I'm in Chagana for you now, beam. Na, I said the lawyer can't quite do near their bobby. Nina baby or court. We are not to down one bobo. And no. Or some kind of court. But I think I think there be Orlando, you know, a foot woman mebunina. When you get the opportunity to serve well. Because we in here and I see so mebun, ya and a boom penny born in that channel. And the bimus in a bear penny papa. So how you carry your cross from here? And then the bed decided that is a company for papa small miner a dobeka home. And I say, ye come on be deal mine demo a dobeka. So your generation now, President Mahama, my opportunity to serve a one. Let me use this medium to also advise them. Say, maybe I would TBano. I will say, who say, I dare now, to me. And I Ghana for the Ama President Mahama. And our pony be the amount said, so mammy. And these all you be or should be done so I won't mean cotton and I'm a boy. The answer of the Americans knows about Bajane Diana now their manner. And see, you soon lesson from free mupa. And at the back one, your crop of appointee manage fire when they say, men shed them a cacabin say, need Jani Cocoti no do an animal, and only the corruption never. Whereby I refuse. If you should have been, what your interest here? I had this young man, but so corner could see, I say, because just give advice about use body language to talk about the entire American. Obi wa to meet Mrs. Sanokra. Okay. Ni living said no. What's the corruption the perception and measure. Into winya success anya manana misusu na start gidi. Me position na me bad sir. Na me bo me homode. Omo na omo nim no. But ni obi once a man forward dream be say you will position yenye adwuma nti if you live life cry na you good we mo munye adwuma young guys mo music mo masa ye na adwuma ba ye meche adwuma na ye uti account station dia onim brofo that is it that will be sure ya because you mean TSS can no be you ya no that's assumption man for dream uti brofo that is it sana man for dream yeah but ye ho no obia timi ye ne neman kakra odi twa na ho kakra good what I say. And this is when you are going now about small by more. Ibia Samri no said they now Tibia. There are big opportunities yes. In government. And now I didn't know crano. You did to me no mouse, we need Nipantana. We are near my year. Nipana crane show. What I say? Oh, to 2 near my year. Yes. Nasi Nipan the baby didn't nipa. And I'm a boy. And this is how you year a best show. And see. Some kaya na munyi na mo ba mu ase munyi hu kokoti mi ade ba ko mi dwa no se nipa mi nim wa hyase enu ina na ekọ na o ye dwe o emu de emu nkrofo mi hu sa last administration no mo do so do mi hu sa de na ahye obufu yes that's me I can't contain it because enu ina na culture poni na wo no si ama obi ya ma esimesi bi nti na wo ba so na de one no ko ya wanya bi no so ono ye den nti ye de no be si but gifty. And the other one, I'm counting near by 11. Quantities amounts new. Oh, Ghana banks say, I told you, name. The uncle for calling Shemuna, I say. ABCD, but I know Uncle we pay yourself. National Service the mere amounts involved national service issues na kasano. I think some Manasseh started your yes, I'm so much. And the revelation no na ye near be a omunya nko court na Ghana for dwene ho a enti ase nim sa o ti ase etua Kenya for ka akwala di when you
that's the
name man be wo ha na wo de ba
na 2 years now but I'm bomb system na
san man nyina ye omo investigations omo conduct ya omo so omo say court omo ube prove anamewa
that's it
wa na say obi esimesi na obentia fa ntimi e toda omo ana omo ye say ejin court na toda memeni omo nya adwene masa if you a good lawyer na court na ukudi the be out the corner ebubo wa also kra ba wo da wo na
ebubo sana
your fact we also yes so the attorney general like no ag so who say anyine we push no be fanchen me I know him very well into the yen hwe de ko but senior so now kasa say na cases na ba na wa be bi no ko you see politicians no ya na ya pushi narrative bi ama nipa edi amanyofo aji hu se we ya kromfo me kai rollers pencil we fear kunya so ya we papa ko for buy the narration in the country then they say NDC appointees na do na kromfo Ghana sika na be wiai so the ultimate ani si abanani so na mfie na ya also jelly NDC for me
that mindset no
NDC for no
e kromfo
mindset and indeed they succeeded in that okay papa go for person ni create court fast track court court di ni pa ba ko asem hwehwe no si jelly no adana me hwe ora chikata interview I'm saying 50 years at the bar interview o kan se mi me hwe ni din me se ya me ma me na koma no bi aso ono ko court ba yi na o kasa edene ko tumu ko ba yi na o kasa bitterness bi ene ni mu ono ne nyame asem ko na no ka ba me de years am minus amre no by then such a person will be any so a very prominent person in the country nti I was it me breaking no near the court same sa eno achi abodapi former no a trade right yeah they no koi Victor Salome those people omunyina Ibrahim Adams all those people yeah, like in the senior now make reference mobile be ana cases ni bi court dada and knowledge prosecute na e law no enye illegal
but who apply
with them and I'm saying me MP na
ko do e dia boss no bi na esa de
general na e bia de na ba no in the wisdom no ohun ni say asem na ye de ko adu abo esimesi na obenten no sebi impredu asanyansa bi ani
opesi enya asem
asem kana make
coincidentally omunyina no we NDC just NDC for
sa reference na no make no also case 1 2 million miensa we me hu ni say sebi impredu asanto asuma atik kasem OSP omo ye nyina ya budget so people for the way mu see OSP no ni enim say obedi kan ko interview once one ko heaven okay and OSP back case closed then we na OSP ho na akra na beef omo ahoro omo ho na we smart reason na we yaba the de na ba ye so no so kra chen the okoye a whole lot of issue so now amount for crash so some perception we say problem our economy nim say omo fight corruption OSP ne count that is a general thinking some because me I have a colleague who told me I say oh na say OSP the for no ko ba en ko ba bia yes that nipa perception no. And then also na corruption and worsen the situation. And if indeed these people no age is or the omoko court wa ma count ko adu or the abomo wanza ofane ba ko bia ye boko adu na na achirim okwa ni na ye bekwa koka ho mako
ubenya akwanya yiwa no enti say ye no crew ye do wa court no beka but I believe say the name e kon ye nya botre Emma Attorney General in the department. Orano, a lot of documents then go for submitting memo. Yes, and indeed that is true. But mind the fact is there will be a time crata the Abasa Kwabena Asante because there's too much pressure on my buying. Yes. If you are close to the Attorney Generals and almost quite time, no, if you talk to them, they are too much under pressure. I don't know whether that's how the law operates. They are too much under pressure because of the perception in the system.
And the campaign in some
the perception in the system.
Yeah, the chrono
can be no. na MPP for na nkasa Kennedy Japan mo so ka bi we bokro no ha we o jase ye no ye ti bench na ye ka bi no na omo party for no so accuse omo ho we no ye deputy chief of so fa we omo na na eka enti ya na wa ka mo so mo chroto yes ye chroto
that is a fair point
the ball when we said that you know but say the two me ma now say at the krata ba enti ya say meje ya me de court ye the dance ye na eko enti say ye the ma na wo no evidence now they con the probative value no former senior say wonko you wait and I make a lawyer bia ampem kugu okoto lawyer court na judgment bani we see we dibema opie no granting tebe ya hwe na bet.
What is strange is that NDC for nkwa cases na waiting him
o say
NDC for nkwa cases
na campaign watwe mu diwie o
but say case there sanity
you see
the defender would always want to also defend himself
me dey ho no mo bi ediko o de oye dan ya me dey me hu se babunu hu ka manya me dey because yin na mabunu ntina me ka se your colleagues in so be antutuna na moye na the president Muhammad that I know Omanhene the Nana Akufo-Addo anye bida John Mahama ye bida we were all in this country under President Mahama Jida when they call court NCA mu issues ne start here no ye appointees and ne omotia bam ne ya tam omo de omoko gina court but under President Akufo-Addo ne MPP na no nsi da ene nsi nso da
see no if
yes
here no
da go mo mu hu bone what I say nti say na senior ka say aban bia ba ono ane nkofo de onya bia ye was a track record no meaning say even within the party a critique disaffection from some camp because obi hu ne say ni nipa oben no na ono ane party de na ko gina court na e de na ko to afiase ni nyina president Mahama ye de ho ntansa bo no but nyamenya na dum Ghana for so on some maybe right nti de ye o mining interest no onye ni and the attorney general baby o bi anso no ya we shino well ora say 700 cases na dia bro say 1000 cases so me dia me ogidie say omunya abotre na dia omode kwa omunim se nipa no adi oman ne bone no na omode ko ma ye nkopre ho say yes ye the case akontu that's why no pa no 5 abom no
in this country that's where we look at what the fake or the shifom or the war and that's what we are looking at. Say obey public service adjuma na it be ball call do say what for sikasunu see you say what for sikasunu see all of us should start being what
no we should be panicking.
I'm telling you because we are not safe
especially with the amounts na me amounts na bom hunu
say kwadu to mu we no but enu kwa ka say hey these opportunities how do we create them at public service
and honum na kameba be say yen institutions nara na yen agencies or said that what boa madam zamani siwa no kwano ni nyina you weekend it's a baby sound there say national service secretariat asema yeke them allegations see onyanda allegations so and then we be anu ama you oh yeah asema back 30 years ago
Muhammad's first time
there means
there was one guy be only be na for who
why they all take a journalist why they say they all take a journalist out of the institution to bring these revelations and sana abanwa
don't they audit their
audit process is still now but they are weakened ebi honoma auditors findings na kasa no wona institutions na be hwe no compromising because the audit agency themselves too will have their own internal problems and challenges. It's a honum na say yerehwe na o say dey yehwe honanum na wo boye sika ne ho ban. Because when I sit and I watch the Weather Public Accounts Committee now at Parliament, when I'm looking at the laws and the bills that we are passing, also the auditing, yen financials na nehonke kahuna, then you realize that institutions of the state in Ankasano, they are weak. We've weakened them, and it's all because of also the kind of people we put there. ye ma competence in DNA bibia na yepede ye still no ye whom you know in that politicization and I know so people get into those positions right from recruitment stages now whether as a first person coming in share background need now political faces into whether nipa no qualify and I don't qualify no deny him.
Okay, so Masaba me to common so but Fidelity for Sika Boom promo no cost just deposit 500 Ghana cedi Fidelity account be obiano and make sure say you just put in multiples of 500 Ghana cedi, you stand a chance of winning something big from Fidelity Sika Boom. Kai hunu se sanje win NLA one Caritas platform no was so den bet we so go so reward one fans will coin beer so the star beer say well whether you bet on sports and I say on work casino kwana you still earn your points that can be converted into cash. The baby will try to be and still you can win what you deserve. It doesn't matter whether on sports or casino, you are winning it big time. So start enjoying the whole day and get rewarded. That's better way for you. Take care of the terms and conditions no applicable. Undimu infie edumotria, you can be part of this game. Na makoso so akai onso say your color party there every minute be a bon kai at the firm say you have to be part of this color party, a big time celebration. Kingdom Herbal Center for the Nrabajaso, your Kingdom Herbal Center Omundu Kingdom Garlic capsules and then a bitters ebwa your immune system nafi at your stress levels or so. Your Kingdom Ginseng Power capsules for your sexual weakness nafi usisi tayo ya afia holding strong edema boosting your energy. And your Kingdom tremendous capsules also you man at that time of the month the challenges that you go through na fiesi oma enkabia so be free abano free precope at the amount Kingdom products we so pebiata or kanshi drug lane free one was 05597611114 and 0249370878 no timini on edinkita Kingdom ye koso kase absolutely no challenger na makoso so aka say kope Royal Kingdom Estate 4 one dine one hihye ne one sase a one di gu akwam asase bia mansu ni su asaso da ofinchim eno na Royal Kingdom Estate 4 a provided for you enti se ope dan ato ope the association die also ope finished a home for rentals Royal Kingdom Estate 4 air car say one will be one them say properties they be on cry every na prices they start free 90,000 a year Ghana cedi one day she share sonko akwam say ope bi ato na etimi abo and what you know premium furnished apartments and so for short rentals East Airport in Tishanen so open Royal Kingdom for Edin Kitahua number our friend 0557555909 Pacho Mississippi number our friend 0557555909 and 0272 778880 no team Royal Kingdom Estate for etimi edi inkitahwama bibi bia etimi akokama edi amount ye pe obapa products bintino ye Africa Queen mackerel and ye obapa sardine and obapa tomato paste but you make sure you are part of this ebrebia okodwa so akodi edwa efa mackerel and say sardine and say tomato paste no obapa products no Africa Queen mackerel obapa sardine and obapa tomato paste kai hunu say auto we na wankasa so no o check yankasa if your number is 0302 668357 na watimini wona dinkita na makai won so say ene kel charcoal toothpaste nso abadwam aposin so nko a yedi twiri yese ama de bibia tima akokama ede ama enti so person kan furo no ba bibia ye kama o person fita o person o siase nam no enya ahoden so nko eyi nkikawa bia nso firi wa kel charcoal toothpaste eboa amasa dwumedewe etima isa hawre nyina ede firi we ye Another quality product from Samara Company Limited. My main car was over fresh number 0246 864798 0246 864798 and 050 14544462. Kel Chaco toothpaste, a happy smile. Come. Atik, to be so, the only now off air about 2 boys. And because they didn't of it, because they about 2 boys.
Matty. But you'll be away Hindu. With the trust, we LPMs now.
But one from him, you maybe what a Hindu.
Oh, yes, that's very true. Who crowd you are upset at the mention of some of these amounts.
Oh, yeah.
Messi, you are upset. Aren't you upset?
No, I'm saying that this is.
You are scandalized, aren't you?
I think
this is a complete abuse of me.
Are you not scandalized?
I'm shocked.
That's the point. You are scandalized. You are upset indeed.
No, scandalized. Maybe no PGM. I'm shocked. Normal.
No, Jack. Shock this.
But I'm careful. And the other so sad at appropriate time. I'm saying, Obi Bana me here 7 Tihadia.
Nanka we want to meet you.
We are back again. The fear constituency Brashebijani Ewahanum Sainti Shannon so a year Niminyam for Boahin baby Boama sorry a fair constituency or a lawyer or no so one now Erica J and so Ewahana Atik Mohammed. I think that we have to get to our next issue of Galamsey. If you say if you follow home and
if you are not the one drew but region
and another responsibility it's not yet here, but we need to start talking about it.
Sir, your boss share with Iskado. I said, we do Iskado. We do Iskado. Can you say, what to do Iskado? Iskado,
Iskado is in town.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
One of me Godfather's back. Omanhene of Iskado. Nana. He's one of the fewer.
Do Iskado.
Omanhene. Them Galamsey Asema Yeki. Omanhene.
Joget.
Na Charles you want contest na Galamsey do news.
What do you mean by that?
I'm going to go for trouble back room.
Get trouble. Before Charles Bishu, there was a canal.
But in years, you can now. I'm going to court to be humble. And I'm in court as a court.
But you cannot you cannot
Bamboys went to Galamsey. The Bamboys went to Galamsey. Bamboys went to Galamsey. It's President Mahamana. President Mahamana. You've joined the profession. You'll be joined.
No problem with that. Also guarding some of the comments that you write. Because if you say defamatory, it's not the best for us.
No, but he has a point.
No, what is the point?
The allegation in town is that
allegation
that they failed. They were set up to fight with Galamsey and they failed.
But you cannot use
so if you were given the opportunity to fight and you failed, and no one was said they failed to fight Galamsey in Esikado, that's a fair point.
I'm an extended person. There's an extended interpretation.
Fine, Charles, on your madam for Saturday, I'm in the share platform, but the Americans, Metiani, baby, I'm free by German not. There may be a Mabun Neshame. Baby, I demember to be a Jumedi Amik, the Mikudini ya Yebeka. Yakwate task force, many ameba. Mona Namodano. A no video leaky as a party, yes, Kaya, no quarantine, in another no call election. No, near some Mabunanya motivation, also Yagalam send you in the Krumnamako Kaya, or some lawyer.
But mana also the yes and so ne de obi be beside from yen information that ben oshase enti bra oshase na nipa na ye kana asem if you okra
it was a small scale. Now the scope has expanded.
It's back on the conversation but ye can ye so na me here Asempa ne de se omanpanyin na ban wentum wanfa wonna ne sifum enimu ya na ye konmusa ye kan na ba ne tutu papa do dem ne da on ye tiade dem ana ma na abo odegu yenti do. You see, prior to 2024 na ye nyina ya ja tunde baby agalamse ena illegal mining wedru ne pivotal point yedru baby o said aban bi obeba du bia after 2024 elections o said otum okutia dem asemi it ebeka ya dem anti galamse coalition for no we organize a workshop ma what the even MOU bema all the candidates nyina was signing. It's not in there say NDC na obey another MPP na obey under Dr. Baomio. There will be a radical fight.
What's it then?
They were looking at whether
yeah, true about we and say Mahama na obey we ni you another Dr. Baomio no we ni you. There will be a radical fight against.
Why
not? Why not?
Cancel Tomaso.
Yeah, because he showed in everything. Nankasa police ready to go and this statement will make you to it. The same as President Hamake and don't to Monfanye Jume. Mama no be Juma.
They know Nana advice.
No advice.
Okay.
So on
police cancel then.
Oh, yeah, police cancel no change. You remember police cancel Galamse Asem. Oh man, penny mama na didikita says here. What to tax force at the days they know I catch no gunu egun. Let's yanka some means there. President Mahama post January 1st, 2025. Now we know clearly the devastation that has gone on in the forest, in our water bodies, and across the country. Maybe I worry in business. No? In fact, successive reports are up there subsequent from February, March, April, May. I don't know urgency. The whole country, Obia, na dream that Obia or cassette here. Then maybe I don't know. Onye asofu kase imam sikasa. In fact, NGOs are whatsoever in the name of fighting Galamse or those such in any other a collection of NGOs in any sector. Or Ghana CC Obia bedan Galamse NGO on it. It's what has stopped the government led by President Mahama to take the bull by the horn and confront this menace. Ontum onye because ewana what we about to aba wo ye Galamse na ye kade ebetu gebogu Galamse na de be ma Galamse fight na akufum no wona na wo shechi na wo so won kutupa de won to aba no fema ne ba be ba be bo ho ban government current government whether party functionaries and other than they gave encouragement to the people who were doing the illegal business. In fact, information suggested there, some of them were even financed from those illegal business people. It is say your finance owner say ebedra banima. Ese de eba be stop him from doing business. Who born dog? Ono na wa cheche abani tin abani kon in this. But Omanhene, ye di tum ne share omanpanyin Mahama ne nsa de onjina na onkonfama Ghana. Ye ka say ye ni so asay nchenim dem. Yesu so na ye tum ye num tap water. When was the last time I tried num tap water in Ghana? In fact, na bottled water cry ji de Eco Hotel and say nye bi de bonum. Na ye best water ye sachet water. Say o ye ni kura mpo su sachet water no.
Started that.
Oh, onyende. onye debate.
But Eric, men first started.
So 9 months.
No.
9 months in government. So you tune your boy and I know you be sad dabe no shasa. Then it means that mana ye na banagana fuye na wabregu. Because the force and the pressure now in the Ogu President Mahama no do any bibi no. It is not the same as even when we in 2024 under Akufo-Addo. Which is also not good because I agree that Abana no one under President Akufo-Addo could have done better. Nobody can take that out. The president under Akufo-Addo could have done better. But why after a change and you said you are going to confront the thing and it has become worse? Young forest reserves have been check it and when you share see Manuel Koduna tan. In fact, Nancy Energy Committee you go around score even grid consider one transmission lines. Ya say su ya say yen forest ya say yen edban say electricity transmission lines ko be man kania akra galam say fu na di dasi nyina ma e da agro kania akra ye bi. And the president is telling us that we need them briefing now.
Obayenche, as Eric is saying,
10 months. In my 10 months or 2 more years in Sacra, if you are a bold leader who is ready to stop such a devastating menace like we are talking about.
Now with 8 years of your party's administration, what happened?
A lot.
That's been the reason why we need that moral right to be talking about matters of illegal mining.
Omanhene, able to my check. Omanpenyin on and odi biba kwade what tax force wonku e succeed kakra na feel. Now was a machinery ebe fail, and that is why I've come from there. So abana na oho de no. So otum osiwa na ekonyo ni den de yewahi. I agree that the MPP government couldn't succeed in the fight against it. But that doesn't mean that 9 months under President Mahama, them knee-jerk approach now, Adanko Dada Dre, Subana or Dayanko to Blue Water Guards, was even in Galamsey from Wanyin in Bisi Afuna way Blue Water Guard business. Oh, this is a very serious platform. Blue Water Guards, man. It's my catch minister across on Concoshe. On calling a man in an examination and pregnancy.
But the best from if that is the case, so you are there to
Obina almost go. They use every tool in their toolbox.
But you're careful so that we also don't compromise young freedom.
But that anyway, that initiative in itself was a bogus initiative to begin with.
Oh,
you are dealing with armed men. You go and
they are whistleblowers.
Should do. Come on,
whistleblower. I said uniform.
So you are paying people to blow the whistle.
Informant.
And you need somebody to come and tell you this is where.
Omanhene.
Let's be serious.
My smallest appeal. Me appeal amede ma abana omanpenyi ma amanede. Ghana funyina yes. Baby ayedru no. You see, onye whether you declare state of emergency or not. That for me means nothing. Abade potina ya edisi una no kwan. 80 yet in a way, don't we have data on where these things are happening?
They do.
Yenima.
They do.
Why there are so much soldier for the police for the one quiet, so on the one quiet. So we already know where these things are happening.
Yeah.
Is the willingness akumapa
to deal with
there ye dey na besi from there be only na oni ho eti ye frɛ MCS so say one bra ye mbeka ni na ye dey buy time much ado. Please, if this president and this government wants to do something to save where we are today, ubutum wa ye meji de there say ye di tum no kra ye di ma mini naso wa kumapa de opede oya botum wa ye because the resources of the state na kumapa no wa he yehu akumapa ni wa de no say
na wo ye ma wa kuzo munga ni ehu ade o say me ma to chinkan Ubum.
And no say.
Huh?
I say.
What them fear watching break better kunya.
Answer the fear watching people. Answer the fear watching. We are behaving as if the alarm say started 8 years ago.
Yen so touch ma.
So for you to say that you cannot perform.
Not that I cannot perform. Chima no nsi bone. They can't so much as no nipa na o kasa na de o kan no. Emfie nwotwe. What creating mess?
Debut. Maybe have that mindset say that mess was created by a certain
intentional. Make us am. They came to destroy our forest reserve. Why name?
Ena abe perpetuate. Ena ebe na abe perpetuate. Ena aba na abe perpetuate. Ena yedi tum ne yeda asha wonsa. Ena wose de wonye say Ghana for yama yensa de ne hude say won tum.
So we should throw our hands in this.
Dem na work a chain. Mana wo ye bia che de say no yenyi na ye je nkoda.
Na galamse fe. Yes, what the strategy ne ba say. Emfa.
There we are about. No, but also for to one buy no. Akoso mo da ho na wakofa touch. It won fie du. You are saying that because somebody had 8 years, why should the person be talking?
It depends on nipa na waka asem na otimi busa.
So why should he be talking at this point? That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Media can say meeting
na abadi ti no say
that you see akwan say ontimi.
I say na say
they said they would law bontrani. Me no penny or lawyer. Unim say Asempa court na eko. Na onam court down na otwa ante udi abu. Adana mfa nko.
Because Asempa court
na eko. So you were there for 8 years and the mess created under your watch no. Super.
That is a fact.
So no.
What do you want to do?
Asemi ayeka ya disiriu. Oyo man penye me dadwen den ohu kwa na obefada obesiwa no mana oye bia o hwe so o hwe fom ne nkrofo ne ko woni ne
are you not satisfied with the measures that they are to come, the tracking, the tax force NIMOS, the river tracking of excavators
when excavators
excavators I
said okay
no mama
what excavator trackers are too.
No, I'm saying are you so far you not satisfied?
Why even buy excavators for people to go and do small scale mining in the first place?
But the first point they say we've all agreed, they say we are not against mining. Bottom line.
No.
I'm trying.
What is causing the devastation? Yes, excavators go here. So how do we regulate that front? Which front?
That's my illegal front. How do we do it?
This is what we are discussing here. So by buying new excavators and tracking them, that's how you solve it.
Just some minutes past, the sector minister says that a lot of a lot of ministers under the previous administration, over 1,000, they didn't go through even DVLA.
What didn't go?
They have no track.
Why didn't go through DVLA?
Their registration and all those, they didn't go through that process. Just a few minutes back. That's the point. No, so if you have maybe you might disagree. If you have a government
that decides to buy excavators and track them.
If you have decided now I buy with not doing it say okay they won't be messy DVLA. And I would be able to try to tell me we are so eager to give a response. And I'm to bus. I buy so far and she shall be actually. It is 9 musaba. Almost so much. Blue water gas.
NIMOS needing.
And yes, our tax force now a compromise all aspects of the people.
I didn't have tax forces.
So
no, I'm asking. To
the extent that and then you may declare some of these reserves permanent military zones and our river bodies. Are we not making that strike?
Omanhene enti dem ensemia eriki ona na ye hwa akwem de omanpanyin no onfa osenye oyo na devastation no onjai. That is the simple answer ye hwehwe ne de anamona yetu waboa ma orukufo manade oresei data ne kire de oresei. You see where they took over from. if per their actions the thing were minimizing, then we are fine. There, I don't know how to
because history they say they also affect.
I didn't every day. I don't know. What no? I don't know, or say more, and that is what has gotten everybody worried. So it doesn't lie in anybody's mouth to say that 8 years ago, a year then. Girl, I'm saying that's on 8 years ago. Obiana Bredo from Rollins, the time to Kufu, the time Medina. Oh, and Abani Bia Bomodene Obesiwa no kakra. Obia the rules, regulations, laws or the ba that would be say no kakra. And Obejini say mother MPP's administration.
Right.
I say,
Jabanism.
Mankado Jabanism, Miss Obejin Sim.
Ewa and the MPP.
And Nanado Oba first term.
In the second term, so can
never make a count. Made the minstrel, maybe Biano.
Let me know confirm I said you will say,
Mankado Jimmy said, Fantini. Messi or jeans. And I said, it's a bono. Best met a bono.
I did you in someone.
Oh,
I told you, and one on where we my
Enna Odu Nanado ne chapter 1. Odu Nanado chapter 1.
Remind him that he's a lawyer.
You are a lawyer.
Yes.
Odu Nanado ne chapter 1. Ohu de waji nsem no na odeza magu aponema even to the extent that Omanpenyin Akufo-Addo ka the ordinary presidency with this line
and your crossing line
member and other line na oye adwuma successfully kakra na odikosi 2020
we need election now no papa line no afi na obi etisim.
Exactly.
So you are buying for
I agreed.
In a ban for Ben Oba beto this is the state of it.
Yeah. How do you make it?
Nagana fu na ye worried. It's in America there a ban bia Oba post 2024 whether or ye Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia another John Dramani Mahama. Nagana fu ye ni somne there or the ninan besi fum na wa ye dwuma madi wa ba fum. But 8 months, 9 months down the line, the whole country has come to a consensus that I don't know why him. And that is why there's a call for government to act. And government has the responsibility to act. And the government owes me, whether me MPP or another me or me as a citizen of this country, they obey your word, mama, I don't know, we save young generation. And you know, all that I'm appealing to His Excellency and the government is that yes, say no also in national security briefing and Sana we declare and state of emergency. But mean every day security briefing on Tigalam say Asem.
There be
one body
to that point. I am for president also see bonnet.
Okay,
when it gets to that point,
which point?
The point where his security advisor will say now this one is beyond measure.
In fact, a honum normal me alarmed.
Under Akufo-Addo, had we got to that point?
Omanhene. In fact, all the questions that led to President answers, no, the one that got me alarmed was this particular statement that he made.
That in consultation with the security.
Say national security for catch na sana.
They are on top of
security. Cratch.
On top of security.
Our president, no, was wufum.
He gets blamed by this.
They declare state of emergency.
Yeah,
you, the president, is seized with every situation of this, including the security situation.
So far, the information that he has, per what he has just said, is that he
doesn't want
exactly. That is alarming for me.
Well.
Me no miss I don't know. Oh yeah, me wawa. Them man no could do in an Omanpenyin or who they were do baby or said they will take the man amono. Them 2024 November, September now NDC Foja worker they declare state of emergency. No. What was the basis of that statement? Time now one now September, October, August now what pre-state of emergency. No. Now when you get with national security also do advise president as they will declare state of emergency. And then you come in and 9 months down the line, the thing has become worsened. The whole country is concerned. Everybody, including Obi Obeka Sebiarika, about it. and then you are telling me the Oman Pinino or still ano je the ultra na Oman Pinino no tumon direct as the first you talk about my national security for
otherwise boy manya kuma menase me ma tik because I tik
no, I mean this is an area I work in. I'm particularly passionate about these things, and a hard journey. Omanhene say, baby, Idri say, I mean, Obi Abeja tum say, the state of Galamsey and poses a huge existential threat to our very survival as a nation. That is beyond debate. And the Obi Ajitum. Now, Anna Akufo-Addo, we said it. Say, look, Akufo-Addo has slumbered on the job so much so that they became a free for all affair. Not affair the Obi Yebi. Party paying for Yebi, ministers Yebi, MPC Yebi, Obi Yebi. We decried the situation. Ama now President, His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, then candidate Mahama. Also the na etumubi. Eka say, look, baby, it would require more drastic measures, including the possibility of a state of emergency. And Obia Oka Sano, whether you agreed with the person or not, but you couldn't take away the fact that Ninyina emphasized the severity of the situation at the time. Akufo-Addo, His Excellency, former president. Nadwinze ono de presidency ya na ni hia no. No draw line or cross ya no papa na de. Nti enya de obeye hwia fa ho. Ye kan ye dede a ono gradually make it was okay passing maybe that even made it easy for people to destroy the forest. Nti ono ye kan na ye di tutu ono a na just say you are comparing yourself to a way. You see, you can't compare your performance to a performance and na ensueni. Let's just say one guy say you are setting below some very terrible standard. Because if Akufo-Addo's performance in the last 4 years and Sana office is your standard, let's just say only standard biakra. Oh, because Uncle Bon Homodia Minyesho say Anka would have got to the point where a man for Kwabena say a big here say a state of emergency. But the sense of Bono Tuka Emma says no bia look Galamsey became the order of the day. Ama Obia Opese Sebi Onyesike Bia Galamsey became the easy option for Onyakono. But I don't want to belabor the effects of Galamsey on your environment, on our livelihoods and everything else. 9 months into your presidency and into your government, Ubano, as a man 40 years, and Debbie Amika said one of the defining moments for the 2024 election was the fight or the lack thereof of Galamsey na ekaho bi pa nzagana for ehun say enya dia na Akufo-Addo na aban like the way no musikutia Galamsey no na ensueni, and you promise you are going to do a better job. It is actually unacceptable say waba, and you are trying to measure your performance against the very performance that was rejected. Let's just one guy's standard that ban now assertive for your fight against Galamsey no. And we'll form that. Now let's look at now measures Omodiaba, and I was asking you measures Ben Omodiaba. There are no unique novel measures Omodiaba who be that.
This administration.
Very much so. The only thing was to create group every or water gas no. Now water gas until me be sound. These are Galamsey, a lot of them are armed. And tell them say, look, Galamsey is an existential threat to our survival, and is becoming a breeding ground for very serious crimes.
Breeding ground?
Yes. See, a man for are wielding guns bambo for cry ebi nibi. What I say, Galamsey side be people are wielding arms. Or more, they are employing the services of langars, macho men, armed robbers. Look, all kinds of microphone you can think of. Or more, Galamsey yesi. Now you are a video be by the you can say the services of macho men and langars were contracted. Ama ebikura now it became an open fight between and amongst these gangs. It it tells you say it's degenerating beyond just the destruction of the environment into a breeding ground for even hardened criminals. Nkrofo who are having access to arms. Now Galamsey owners and Galamseyers no ebi mu to sa arms no man Nkrofo who allegedly are providing security for them. Now say, what do you think they are going to use the arms for? Now say who the Zoom Lion workers because they should become water gas and they are to face off with Nkrofo. What do you think the outcome is going to be? And in the first place, that initiative, look, has failed before it could even begin. Who are trained to wield arms, one for manko to provide security to these water bodies. Name Mwako T group be like an NY Zoom police for DAB. So Monko and become water gas. They cannot protect the water body against Galamsey for because they are not trained to handle arms and they are not even armed to deal with Galamsey for. And undanchen Nemozi Uzi Nemozo. The same thing, we had different kinds of task forces. Every now and again, it is not different from what Akufo-Addo was doing. The key Nyoma essay Abangwe to win the fight against Galamsey, no, they are not doing. In the first instance, Mena Naika was included NDC for say a kutia a collective fight against Galamsey, no, essay you free honum no. They no why. Only free why. Secondly, we had recommended, and in fact, Mazda and other CSOs had made the point there. One, in fact, the most effective first step is to make sure that you suspend all artisanal and small-scale mining for a certain period. Akufo-Addo in his first term, that's what he did, and we're able to be any TT. Because once you outlaw their actions, and the Minerals and Mining Act empowers the minister to do, to so declare, say, and to so suspend the activities of these small-scale miners until such a time, say, you better make sure, say, things are streamlined. The law allows you, say, if, the minister can suspend the activities on our licenses or mineral rights of any entity if it is in the public interest. And then the whole public interest in the fight against Galamsey. So the first is to suspend the activities now, so that Obia Ebehuno or Forest Obia, not just say you are there illegally. Once it has been suspended, you are not allowed to work. But Mampenyika Sembi Enunema Mira Huye. We all know that gold is the mainstay of this economy. There's no doubt about it. But to suggest say without even Galamsey gold, your economy Ebebutu, it scares me. Not just say, well, it's a necessary evil. But name and there are allegations in town. Say,
but that one, the gold board chief executive, they don't purchase what we
I'm
coming there.
Hold on, Gold Board Act. Part of the issues are you raising. The one my fine shame. Yen fancy in brand new there won't too want to. Now
illegal gold.
When the aggregators and the other small buyers, do they ask you, say, Jack, would the license small scale mining Muna Adibaye? Who are we fooling in this country? Majority of the gold is coming from Galamsey. Let's not kid ourselves. Because Gold Board, they are talking about tracing. They have not even started doing tracing.
But why is the minister of finance even saying there? Say what can they the effect, the total effect in about $10 billion?
You see, the point is that you have not started doing the tracing. It's in the pipeline. As to whether that will be effectuated or not is even another matter. But aggregator koto golda. And when the medium level buyer no so koto. Who will go that way, Jack? Now we'll go the license, small scale mining. They don't ask those questions, and there is no paper trail to tell you that this gold was gotten from licensed small scale mining. What is here? And gold even when it was not gold when it was a cocoa market, PMMC, Precious Minerals Marketing Company. Galamsey gold na na yedi kwabruchina. And that is why when you go to LBMA, A lot of the gold from PMMC na ton large scale phone quantity na ton because it is difficult to separate galamsey gold from licensed small scale mining gold. Enti enne Mabenya Gaza considered say look, it's a problem. Usi omunja adwuma no prekopa ebe hadwene, and that is where my disappointment comes from. Because and that is why the first major step I recommend here said they should suspend all activities. Nobody is paying heed to it.
Suspension of it.
Yanka said cancel small scale mining. Listen to it.
For how long?
Akufo-Addo did it for a certain time period, and that is why you have technical men. They will tell you, okay, we can come up with a workable blueprint within which would allow Gold Board the time to work out a plan for tracing. We suspend all activities now. Then you know how the blueprint are about to do tracing, so that when they are buying the gold, they are buying gold that is not tainted with illegal mining and the rest of that. Then the technical man can advise the president, say, look, ABCDR, this is how we are going to do it. And one of the suggestions I have when it comes to dealing with this galamsey issue is Ghana, we have two extremes. You are either doing large scale mining or small scale mining. There's no medium scale mining. And nema nkrofo mo small scale mining ni bi eye galamsey ni say wa beji by 5 blocks, but the capacity ebia ebru 5 blocks no. Nti what the person does ni say oji 5 blocks now or license that covers the 5 blocks obeja no na watra into the other only license was no or ye galamsey now ba no the way na kire
no to me
krata. And they employ Krofua who are doing galamsey to come and mine on other concession now. No. Masa. Now look, me, I said this entire thing is a syndicate. I think it's a syndicate.
But because it's difficult to believe that at the end of the Minerals Commission, Forestry Commission, other relevant bodies, lands and natural, they made up
forestry. They are not empowered to know what the concession dimensions are.
So
forestry
so main confono so who them illegal activities now again because of the people involved. It will need the boss, to say that you see yacho across the threshold. It's prosecute no.
And we have also politicized the fight against galamsey. That is another big problem. Nuclear woman is a
politicization, a positive and a negative.
It's terrible, it's negative. And it doesn't allow us to win. And memory MB before now they can speak about galamsey. And then they found their voices. And then this is for a catch on
but is that a good statement?
It is not. Just as it was not good for the MPP to say policies are no. It's the same thing the NDC trying to say even though that is why they are out of government. They failed. What I say. But for me, even some of the major players are politicians. The major look. What is the Ghana for Srumra? Ghana for Srumra. The only people who take the law hostage are politicians. Because when you say China of Fred chairman, chairman will call IG na what I say. And that is our problem. If we did politicize crime, say wow we galamsey and also party constituency chairman, national organizer, whoever you are, now we galamsey na chiwa. Man will be D, and nobody would come to your rescue. And government should have the kahunas to prosecute some microphone. But remember when we another issue at me feel say government is tacitly and inadvertently is aiding the survival of galamsey in itself. In fact, the Ministry of Interior is acting treasonably even against the Minerals and Mining Act. Manage say ye chu bia or ye expatriate or ye galamsey. First, you arrest, you prosecute, and if the person is found guilty, the person serves a jail sentence. In fact, we actually amended the sentence to make it even higher. The threshold it used to be between 5 and 10, I think. Now it's between 15 and 25. Ye chua we expatriate. Ubeko ko dasem dibia.
But see assistant say.
Say.
Ye chua na edoko.
No, yes, some money. So it's illegal. The law has not been amended. So what the interior minister is doing is illegal. In fact, Mazda is in court. Sometimes it can be boring. When we were filing the case, you catch and say, when you are serving the attorney general, you need to allow them 1 month and then notice PB. So we filed, hoping because it was an urgent matter, so that by the time maybe you wouldn't become moot. It took the attorney general a long time to respond, and the response was, nanke say ye mo musa allowance no. Then the court would have to come back and grant, and the judge granted them say ye mo musa allowance. I've been a case nanka se bestati, but they know very well. Say the law does not say which you or more deportium. The law says arrest them, prosecute them, and jail them if they are found guilty. Then Immigration Act gives you the chance to deport them. Manager say Obia expect you now serve 3 months and above. They reserve the right to deport you. So that's how the process is. But interior minister say uchi jetli na manonko ochina Jackie Chan be back. And he's the same person coming back as Jackie Chan.
Omoni say.
Now China for do say na be we were different from we.
Omanhene.
I just love your posture today.
He's a lawyer now.
Omanhene, you see, Galamsey, Asemi, said the Mekana, Miniantina, and Kamuchimano, Sibone. I am not saying, say, ye ba ban mu de yakoso no sa na epe no David yes na epe no yare eni o man no atenache na nipa bia no se ohododo a tembia o pedro a ebe ma hoden ayeden aba wo mpom enti se de na etie o yare etie kane afe no se ne sa na etie a etrese bibia etimi to any point in time. That was the main reason why I passed a comment say over the past 8 years they are experiencing a kruma kasa nipa kai the mampenia kasa kafa galamsey fight ni bebi omodi ye bedru na ene minu apani mrashi bedwani ojina ha no okasa sa no na mesia fem kakra because adia yenyina yenim se aban dada na etwa mu koye no na aban mu mpanimfo na ankasa no galamsey campaigns and I know say there's another pending case I'm say age graph file already akonta man ne sa tano ni brain forest wonsem no o my that issue ne buy no okay statement a minister bujina for the buy. The statement was that
Asempa FM
Akonta mining no can be so illegal. Who is the owner of Akonta mining? A regional chairman of then party in power. A foolish case. I see I before docket or prepare that one year they prosecute So this calibers they have the locus. So no better nasi. See because galamsey no fight na more fight. Na mo no na share gloves and na mo deko. And only my day back be answer mo. I can fool people be say I know the pebble siam. You no one e dey tria. We ni chem we do san ku fie bi say be wa say say mona momo toto ho ayampia in power mo power ye ka galamsey asemo ana momo kana na mo amasan betena za mo san be ka foforo mo ka za Ghana for no mo de mo kan ne nti o
Inti ni kwande ebe
de kika ke de me
asema economically and you see importantly yes I'm a member of a political party. I stand for and on behalf of the party. The party no ya dena sonya ebotum ya aka it also nche because at the time say ekokote menu sema have had a strong stance against whether in power or out of power. Exactly. So the fact that MPP as a party would have had Okay. Let's on
I am not saying say momonkasa. Say me tie. Me report. Ye ne nkwan so de ba me di. Enti sa kaza no ko kan we. These were the exact characters 4 5 you can say a year ago. Now
those times ago for election. No, so them 8 years ago. Now NDC for no one Eric, didn't you have NDC people also doing galamsey?
You have the power to change the.
And no make us say me can na me penny abem. Me o kasa na my head. Once the work ka say o commend me say oh this na me dey ko.
Tell your lawyer.
Mine was now Minister Kasai. Yeah, the crata command CSOs ni na se person ni omuhia. And no crata no kwa bontian and be before start to say nye di here ni. You see always the bia so nim say won kwa na adwene wotimu a. And how be ko baby ayenko. When we met, omo kan omo adwene. Ye ti omo. And ye me was a did good crata so to anamo. Ye de betu anamo. And amamu no enye ba ko fo nkwa na kire damfo. That is governance. Some of us, where we are coming from now, omoye galamsey no. Ebi I may expect say the Kwabena Asante tena haka and ombeti ejai because they depend on that to survive. Nti ehia near the adwene base yitu anamonsi ya ebeboa ya na eboa the fight. Ye ba ya anamon ya start bi. Ba won say okase bia amanyo sem ne ntini ntimi nkan ko wachi say onko anim say onko wachi. Minister kasamitie no pa. Mine say from 2009 to 2016. Last scale license and no more issue Okroma. Ne 393 from 2009 to 2016. The same last scale license from 2017 to 2025 no. Na a record 740. 2016 ABC 2025 year omoko you know na ehuriko 740 over half of 50% na yeden abeka
a pointer
for
coming to the let's introduce Ghana for this year into last
last scale mining also no the okan is here no 2009 to 2016 license omo issue ye na 1089.
You mean small scale?
Yes, a small scale. But 2017 to 2025, no small scale ni jump call 1,490. What you say? Inti me no kasa sisi licenses are hold on maybe a issue ko enim. And kofoya ye mo license ko ya so na omo bi more than illegal miners. Inti ye ko ya na say by.
That is where maybe there's a Mincom, Forestry, Minerals Commission, all relevant agencies.
Omanhene
really working.
Omanhene they are out there.
We were hosting the man here and he was did you ever ask him that question?
Oh, of course.
Maybe are not here cancer man Yeba never come we tria nti yenjano.
It was their time.
Wow. This is about 7 Ghana. But enforce you not total na
the officer
when I bought minko na minim others no man better time or her minjasu what high defense organs be ankoso no mo he was defending the line.
He never defended or say they encourage Ghana for number.
The man was here saying they are fighting galamsey.
But if you encourage Ghana,
you just asked a question said they don't know mo chese they were not working and he was here defending you were allowing him. You be keep your own dey be what time in Ghana.
Me dance pa why?
No cry oh.
Hey, and I do my lawyer.
Na say me dance. Yeah ba, sometimes I program
no, ultimately time we are in discussing the topic. Let's
some no afraid na hit you. Yeah, catch you say chief.
You have power now. 4 solid years. What can be done to improve that sector? What can be done?
Once na me active, once on is on time Ghana. Nti na me usuno kwa no nti o se no so kwa kiresin. Na me nti na se otukan na atwere atungukunu ko. National Anti-Illegal Mining Operation Secretariat. No mining NIMOS. What I say? Nti asrafo and the police for no bin so ayi account. Task force. Blue water guard. Yeah, on Rambo Cracker, so what is the MPP for me? Are starting.
Propaganda is not to
and I will catch them say, hey, what I got for the starting you bush. And then people for no so that's who bush where you
the bush. And then this one I'm saying this is my some of the solution.
Remember, it is a sign record so there. No squad no more bush no. Or more than I
don't crop for the good bush.
Oh my. Just a passing comment. Oh my buy you say the ama acquire near assassin and said do na excavator importation. And none of them no be ham so hakakre. I was a well make example be some minister naka say some years ago.
Yeah.
Excavators no kwa near the bar your license. Your first street and near the Ekosiisen room. Until see about condemn kwaye no ye nyimpie. And I was all kwachi omo so mudu omo motherboard no mo de kwa. Opa the baby ade chon mo de be siso abaye adwuma. Now there are measures in place. You say excavators na ba anyhow no. Ye manen koyesa. Nti e ba you series of excavators and anchor for their bar ni na aka porter na seize say until say you be hu dwumadi port ye di kodi de nti e fa so bai anase e be na fire system no yen release ma and on the cars over 1,000 na ma port e hwaye ma ye tam de krosi baby amunu anu ma te joy omoko fa ba kruma say excavators e tu anadwo ya mo amane because mo na hweso ha ana me no be kan no nti omo de sa fake news ne bae no and na sign de adwene bi ba sa what is happening and the news was fake later minim so mo pa chaw dia so obi aso na ebo na otimi di hambo pa no what I say nti the measures abae na me no ka say excavator bia obekra aba krum ha no sa amfa ban ni nsemu am ye hu ba bia ekwa entimi nko ba bia enti se kan no ye ba na anu adai excavators ya chichi excavators ni be over 440 and a minister na de betu just ya chichi momo penso mo chi excavators 500 e one ye tise one aduna ba kon tu okay the missing excavator scandal anadwo ye nyina ya da no obekọ na ba kon obi afa ya hye ne moto
inde yin excavator
Omanhene ye ya da no
one hour bisu and bisu say one Dr. Louis this excavator so one yo
went you know Omanhene ya no ata na meti Christian village na excavators ya so bia begun kran ayi aviation for plot is so wa den tai anadwo asini fa ba ko do timi fa ba ko hye ne nsem no de ko nti ye ni ba ho no na ni nyina ko de ko fa na wo Samurai Boy Forest obegun na ya balance no no ye de ne ko be enchi ne de Samurai Boy de no so kwa that was what you people were doing in park
solution
so at the end of the day apa ye chichi excavators ni bi e punishing kofo ye de kofo ko court na no ada cham fine ya chi chanfan ahodo be mako be 300 chanfan ya chi eno so no ya chi nipa be 1400 ya attended the usual prosecution ekoso but them person what here so Omanhene
na how those are moody pot no
Omanhene galamsey fight no
and you enough say we okay as a lawyer ma me bisa lawyer wa ye dey bet it so ma me bisa as a lawyer
galamsey fight enough
no me bisa media amelema
maha
me no a lawyer me bisa as a lawyer
but you are
I'm taking advantage of the fact that you are a lawyer
say galamsey case bi ama ya be me service ma me ye me communication
say na oye political representative
no be lawyers wa bia so who na lawyer na
political representative only do hear me me kind normal in count
particulars was it go to the particulars
Omanhene asema me kan se mo ma me nka
edi rabo
nti de me kan no excavator nyema ye kwan ya fa so chichi chamfan like a lot of things
me maybe I'm interested what you say mo hwe na your forest zones now because as we speak
already know
that's what you're following call you
already know LIT
no but they were already red zones by the forestry commission they were already declared
minister Neka say
because it's LIT for to send just keep them there permanently
also omugu kwan a process or mobile revocation of that particular airline because ultimate tenacity. Eshemra ma kwan say yenko
but 9 months
be too
muntimi na repeal
you see emra ho asem no enti say the wafa de okwan ho ne
this is not even an act. It's just a regulation. Where is just a regulation? It's not even an act.
Ever parliament and you have passed the certificate of agency. Exactly. Your bag one mobile. You have the majority certificate of agency.
Debate be say na good board cry to galam masa unim say good board to be near galam say akwachi
how do we
because we are in a country na kwanya ye faso e de hwe egudie so kra no yinim de ye ho aban bi bai within 6 good months yetimi set up good board good board ni trade no e dem faso mo man na ye forest ahon den kakra yinim say good board ni ye den meba into the granted Omanhene granted said the omo kanumpo ye no kre
say good board.
We are not saying that
Exactly.
PMMC now.
Masa PMMC mo fan try good board ye nim de mo de ye okruma tuja wo ho e na mo twe famif ade ho ani ye nim de ko na me power so mo de man and MPP de na nkan aduma
na creature of law
me say ma me nko Omanhene ti de me pese me cho ne say emra na kan wasem no omoko mra hye be fi no. There's no provision in the law it say good board eto good if it's small you can say illegal people no nti ye betena ha na ya ye ho no ade ama international recognition obi ade na ni kire Ghana ye ba behwe de Ghana ye ne esesa nema na ye betena ha
enye say ka go so
so maybe
ya ka ya nke bia wa
dance suggest say mo fasa traceability
exactly anke timi ye no it becomes easier
nyina your processes are I agree. Penny Sami Jemfigu so na no say ade yo adwuma bi ode be no betimi ayo.
There's no doubt. The point is that
very powerful. Why are they?
No,
he's done well. In the midst of all these challenges that you raise,
yes,
there seems to be a certain regulated front.
Yes.
Now, Ukasa with amongst them, Kwana. I see who can cross. When one in Yanam there,
smuggle.
We don't
positive.
No, God board is you.
How is that possible?
Who can you see in the gold value chain, gold board, that is the truth. Ufa gold, see gold board value chain. The gold value chain, the transaction part of the chain has changed. There's no doubt about it. But my worry is where the gold is coming to be transacted, no. And it is linked to this fight against Galamsey.
As in these operators, they are fighting the gold board.
How
heavily? That in terms
really?
Heavily.
We raise a but you see, but anyway,
to gold in as a world market price today. That's a price.
Almost you say yes,
sell by force.
But I know Mona na ye share mo muji tu muse ye no.
We agree that it was good. Oh, WWW, please.
In fact, FDP did not even resist the law.
You did not resist it. We even enhanced it. Me na make traceability na na person this year. Na mo ma kwa ma
President Mahama obey biano.
No, but the Galamsey fight
is question.
It's very weak.
When you're about 10 and 15, when 90 me and 5